Well, Kirk Cousins, welcome back. He was jogging the field, but also walking down memory lane. You know, the last time he was in this building, he was playing for the home team, but today he's back. And it only took him 5 years to get back to his old stomping ground. This is the team that drafted him, but he told his teammates, this is not a revenge game. I have nothing but positive memories, nostalgia. I am grateful for the place that I started my career, but he was pretty locked in pregame warm-ups. And guys, I know you like that.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, Christina. He actually said when we asked him yesterday about that, he said, I hadn't thought about saying it. It's going to have to come out naturally.
I don't know. I don't buy it.
You don't buy that?
I think he's lying. I think he's thought about it.
All right. Commanders won the toss, deferred in those black unis. This is their home debut. They won against Dallas earlier this year. In Week 9, Vikings Commanders. Ron Wu on the return inside the Viking 10. And brought down right away around the 21-22-yard line. Just a quick reminder on the weather here. Mid-70s, cloudy. Humidity is up a little bit. And a light breeze. Christian Darrisaw, the first-round pick of last year, is playing some outstanding football. The receiver set, KJ Osborne, has been blocking more, although had a touchdown catch last week of the victory over the Cardinals. Yeah, and I'm really checking out TJ Hockenson. They made the trade for him on Tuesday. He's implemented himself right into this offense, really picked it up, and he's one of those guys that can truly threaten the passing game in the middle of the football field. Dalvin Cook brought down as soon as he got the football by Kendall Fuller. Kirk Cousins, who said he felt more comfortable in the offense last week than he has all year. The team's been winning. He's hoping to find his way, and whatever he's doing, it's working. These are his numbers when he was a member of the Washington team. Yeah, and Kirk Cousins really playing great football, really managing the game well. A lot of people think of that as a derogatory term. I don't. He manages it well. That's the difference between winning and losing these close games that they've been involved in. Yeah, pretty much every quarterback manages the game. It's how well they do it. Cousins on the move, and he does that well to Justin Jefferson, short of the first down, but a good completion. Against this Commanders defense, they've kept the last 4 opponents under 21 points. Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen tough up front. Yeah, they're playing that 5-down defensive lineman front. Cam Curl, the safety, he's done a great job. He's taken over for Cole Holcomb as the green dot guy, meaning he's the guy they send the play into. He has to communicate that with the defense. So 6 defensive backs. Mayo and Holcomb are inactive for that Washington defense. On a 3rd down, Cousins with time and open. And there he is, TJ Hockenson. Former Lion, they traded for him this week on the NFL trade deadline day. Well, he's right here on the tip, and he's gonna run through the defense. He's gonna run this dig route. And this is something they haven't had from the tight ends. You see 18 underneath. That's Justin Jefferson taking that attention from the coverage, and all of a sudden there goes Hockenson deep in the middle of the football field. Really nice design. And when that deal was made, Viking fans went, yay, and Lion fans went, what the heck are we doing? Meanwhile, right away, Cousins looked at video of what Hockenson does best so that he would be comfortable and trust each other in a hurry. They did on that play. After they picked up 19, Cook carries across midfield. I think it's a great point that you make in regards to your quarterback and the leadership there. Nobody told him to study TJ Hockenson. He went right to the film department and go, give me cut-ups, because what I want to be able to do is manufacture trust. I want to manufacture relationship right off the bat. So he studied him. The other thing is David Blau, the practice squad quarterback, used to be with Detroit, sat with TJ Hockenson for hours upon hours going through this offense so he could assimilate it, and you see him already making a difference for Minnesota. Yeah, Hockenson, the Pro Bowler in 2020, in his 4th year, 8th overall pick of the Lions. He had 26 catches with Detroit. Already has one here with the Vikings as Cook tries to get going, and Cook close to the first down as he gets inside the Washington 45-yard line. Cook last week, just a little bit short here, had his first 100-yard game, 20 carries, and 9th in the NFL in rushing. And when he goes well, then the rest of this offense seems to be working at ease. Well, this is it's based on design. You know, one thing I love about what Minnesota does is they have an identity. They know they want to run that mid-zone and that wide zone stretch play, and then they want to build off of that in play action and everywhere else. They need a yard. Cousins is throwing, looking, for Jefferson, who's back with the football. He comes back to haul it in and stays in bounds. Benjamin St. Just on the coverage.
There's a single high safety in the middle of the field. That means we're getting one-on-one on the outside. If you get on top, I'll throw it deep. Cornerback stays on top. That's just a back shoulder fade. That timing route, that completion right there is quarterback and wide receiver seeing the exact same thing, being in unison and reading one another's minds.
Gotta love that call on 3rd and a yard. Jefferson averaging over 14 a catch. That was good for 17.
Yeah, it's always good when you have that kind of trust with a receiver, and they certainly have developed that over the last few years.
From the 28 of Washington, opening drive. Cousins firing again. Reaching up for it is Jefferson. Down to the 10-yard line.
And there's that trust we talked about. Little play action, right? That sucks up the underneath defenders when you flag that play action out there, and then you find that hole. Those guys underneath, they all stop their feet. They don't get depth, and then 18 right there in the middle of the football field for another easy pitch and catch. That's all about that, just that trust that's developed and that understanding of what we're trying to accomplish. And that's based off the running game. We run the ball, you can't help but step up as an underneath defender.
Spotted at the 12, first down. Thielen in motion. The give is to Cook straight ahead. He gets inside the 10 before he is brought down at that point. Averaging coming into the game, Cook, just under 5 yards a carry. He'll be spelled by Alexander Madison throughout the course of the game.
And that is, this is a tougher part to run. You get to the red zone inside the 20, you don't have to defend because you got an extra defender as the end line, the back of the end zone. So even when you've got those safeties back, everybody's within 8 yards. People say all the time, well, you can't run it against the 8-man box. You better know how to run it against the 8-man box because this is a 10-man box right now because everybody's got their heels about 6 yards.
Hawkinson, Mark, is in motion. You've got Jefferson down here, a lot of choices. Floating one for the end zone, and Jefferson reaches up, hauls it in, and hangs on for a touchdown, Vikings. And he's giddy over the gritty.
Hey, this is all about, we talk about trust right here. Here's Jefferson. This is covered. I mean, St. Just has got him, right? He's a tall guy. He's lean. Look at this trust. Just throw it. You know he's covered. But guess what? I don't care if he's covered. Even when he's covered, he's uncovered because Jefferson's so good at attacking the ball in the air. That is chemistry right there.
And Cousins gets Jefferson his first touchdown catch since week 2 when he had a couple against Green Bay. The extra point, and they haven't been so automatic for Greg Joseph, but this one is good. Even though outsized by the defender, Jefferson went up and got it, and bringing the team a couple of comebacks. And up front, the offensive line, some shuffling here. Trey Turner playing well, so he's moved into that starting spot at guard.
Yeah, they've had 7 different combinations, the offensive line, and scary Terry McLaurin. Man, you want to talk about a matchup of 2 great receivers. We just saw Justin Jefferson. McLaurin is awesome. This guy is a great player.
Brian Robinson, the rookie, starting in the backfield. He gets the football and falls forward for a couple of yards. James Lynch in there for Dalvin Tomlinson. And Heineke, last year a starter, this year stepping in after the Carson Wentz injury. And as you said, more than just what he does for the offense, and he's working on becoming a more complete quarterback even at this stage of his career in his 8th season.
Yeah, just really energizes this football team. Nothing phony about this guy.
Heineke to throw, and right on target, and good enough for the first down as he's thrown to the ground. Cam Sims. Viking defense mentioned that Tomlinson is out with a calf injury. We'll also see Kyrus Tonga helping out there. Kendricks and Hicks outstanding, and Peterson's been outstanding in the secondary.
Yeah, Zadarius Smith, NFC Player of the Month last week, had 3 sacks, and that is like finding Waldo because he'll line up everywhere on the defensive line of scrimmage. Great play.
Robinson on the carry and gets up around the 42 after the 12-yard pickup, and Zadarius Smith did make the tackle. Actually, NFC Player of the Month as well, and tied for the sack lead. And this combo, offensive coordinator Scott Turner, he likes the rookie Robinson, who kind of won the job before the shooting incident, and he wasn't healthy. But Antonio Gibson, they want to get him the ball in space.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Great 1-2 punch. That's what Ron Rivera wants. And he talked about back in the day, D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. I've got that kind of punch now in my offensive backfield.
Back of those Carolina Panther days, great success. Heineke to throw, and incomplete. I think that ball was deflected because it fell short downfield. John Bates, the tight end, was shorter, and it looked like maybe Hicks.
Yeah, I think it's Hicks, and he's on a green dog. And what that means is when you are in man-to-man coverage on that back, and that back blocks, just go. Attack the quarterback. You see him in there blocking, boom, go gets it. That's what he does. Tips the ball, creases third down and medium.
Heineke, people critical of his size. He's undrafted out of Old Dominion. Gibson as a receiver. That's him moving now. On a 3rd and 6, Heineke floats one. Curtis Samuel can't shake the tackle, and it'll be 4th down. Kendricks wouldn't let him go.
Such a savvy, just such a savvy player by Kendricks. You know, he's taken the inside across the football field, and then he just stops, comes back because he knows a crosser's coming. He reads the route combination, understands the crosser's coming, and then it's just tackle, wrap up, hold on, wait for the cavalry. Nobody showed up, but anyhow, he got on. A lot of guys forget that when they become play callers.
Dalvin Cook. Stop. Well, he actually did a good job get to the 20. Cousins, by the way, on that last drive. 5 out of 5.
We had an opportunity to talk to Kevin O'Connell just about how you pick a coaching staff, and he really talked a lot about it's about relationship, it's about finding teachers, but also having healthy discord, right? Having to have arguments and to be persuaded and to still have that kind of healthy disagreement, and that's one thing he's really chosen well for his coaching staff.
Yeah, he's not a dictator. He's not a my way or the highway kind of coach. The quick screen, and they're ready for Hawkinson. Brought down right away inside the 15. And big defensive play. Jonathan Allen, they're going to lose yardage of the Vikings.
Yeah, Jonathan Allen, they're just running a little game here inside. Jonathan Allen coming around, and he is one of these guys. I'm telling you what, inside he's as good as it gets. That combination of Payne and Allen, both savvy, both incredibly strong, but gifted athletes as well. And they are a problem inside for any team they play against.
Yeah, that 5-down lineman thing and the way they mix it up. 3rd and 11, the pressure is on, and Cousins is thrown down inside the 5-yard line. Deron Payne. 5.5 sacks for him this season.
Well, you shouldn't be this big and this strong, but this gifted and this athletic. He's going to get down right here, down here, and now watch him. Just whoop, swim move over the top, stays balanced, gets to Kirk Cousins, but you're expecting him to run you over, so you want to sit down as an offensive lineman. You tend to get a little bit over your toes. He just pulls the swim move on you, flies right by.
Ryan Wright will be booting it away from his own end zone. Dax Milne will have some room to run. Flag flies as he gets inside the 45-yard line of Minnesota. Flag on the other side of the field. Jerome Boger is our referee, his 17th season as a ref.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 37. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down, timeout.
That'll back up Washington after a 50-yard punt. And a strong return. Defense celebrating for Washington. They got the ball back for their offense, trailing 7-0. Straight ahead run across midfield. Well, if you're not playing Fox Super 6, you're missing out on a chance to win $100,000 at Terry's Money. Get your phone, download the free Super 6 app, enter your 6 picks in the NFL Sunday Challenge. 6 correct picks, Terry's Money in your pocket. Good luck. 16-yard run by Samuel, who's carried 18 times this year from his receiver spot. He's done some running back work from his college days at Ohio State. On 1st down, pressure on Heineke, and he's sacked at the 45, Daniil Hunter. His 4th sack of the season.
Well, the edge presence of this defense, they are the reason this defense really thrives. And here you see Hunter right here, easy. Look at that little jab inside. Get the offensive lineman thinking you're going to inside move, then slap, swim, or slap, rip underneath that arm and turn that tight. You got to turn that tight corner. These guys off the edge, they've got a great rotation. Ed Donatell, the defensive coordinator, that's the presence. That's really what the strength of the Minnesota Vikings is.
Loss of 6. Heineke's in trouble here on the move. He will get across midfield, and go out of bounds. It'll be third, depending on the spot, 3rd and 7 or 8.
I tell you, you know, you think about Heineke and just how gifted. He's a gifted athlete, but you really want to escape in the middle of the pocket, and that's something they've really worked on. Manipulate the pocket, escape in the middle. That way, if you do get taken down, it's for a very shallow loss, you know, 1 or 2 yards, but really work in the middle of that pocket, driving up, and then finding the receivers.
See how he does here. Gibson behind him. He's going to run straight ahead. There's not exactly a lot of room there, and it's 4th down. Darius Smith got up there first. A planned run that just didn't really open up.
Right, you know, that's a design. I mean, it was a design draw right here. And you'll see Hicks, he's just reading it the whole way. Look at his eyes out there, but he sees him taking off, adjusts, steps up. That's just simply too easy. But you see that edge presence. That's where he's got to start escaping, but drive the ball down the middle of the football field when you get up inside there and you kind of climb that pocket, Chris.
Ooh, pressure on Way. He goes down untouched. And the ball sticks inside the 5. Oh, and it was almost down before Washington knocked it into the end zone. It was Percy Butler who had the chance. Close on the block, close on downing it. Just a little too much momentum.
Cleaning is the...
Excellent defense. They were ready.
Yeah, McCain had this right from the start. I mean, he's right here, but the pass rush right off the bat. Look at him. Just right through traffic. Munt tries to get the block, but he read that right off the bat. Puts you behind the chains again, and if you can put him behind the chains, that frees you up as a pass rusher to ignore that run game and just pin your ears back.
Madison remains in the game. He was trying to do something with that screen, but couldn't get away. Pass caught by Jefferson. He puts a move on and up near the 30 and close to a 1st down.
One thing about Jefferson, you don't think about him this way. You know, he is slight, he's so quick, he just eats up space, you know, eats up cushions, but he's great after the catch. He really is at churning yardage, and when the ball in his hand, he's like a skilled running back. He's really good with a feel of continuing to get extra yardage.
Just short of the 1st down. Madison in on 3rd down. That's him moving around. Straight ahead is Cousins.
How about that surge?
Well, the signal is forward. There he is, the Roadrunner. What was he? Just over 18 miles an hour when he ran for the touchdown.
Watch him step back. You step back, you give that surge of that offensive line a little time to wedge that thing in there. That's how you get that extra yardage. One of the keys to being a great QB sneak team.
That was his power move last week. He set the tone, scampering for a touchdown at just over 18 miles an hour to set things up against the Cardinals with 5 rushes. First one on the ground for Madison in the game.
We talked about the 1-2 punch of the Washington Commanders running back room. Got a pretty good one here too with Madison and Cook. They are, you know, for guys that kind of have that speed and that athleticism, both of these guys run hard and they'll run you over. And obviously Madison right there had a little head full of steam, put his nose in that pile.
2nd and 8. The rollout completed, but right away, Johnny Munt brought down. And I know they're watching in Modesto. Modesto Munt, they call him after you made him one of those. Well, you're the honorary. I guess you're the leader of the fan club.
Right, he was throwing blocks, but a great move by John Bostic, coming off the coverage, coming off the crosser, seeing the intent of Kirk Cousins, and jumping down and making that solid tackle to put him in 3rd and 7.
down lineman. Madison the back. A deep drop by the safeties. Cousins fires. And incomplete for Thielen. Kendall Fuller on the coverage. Fourth down.
Just an in-cutting route again right here, and Fuller is all over this. They got him with that earlier. Justin Jefferson that time. They've read it. They've seen it. Now they adjust to it. Fuller making a nice play on the receiver and on the ball.
Dax Milne back to return the punt of Ryan Wright. Wright had a 50-yarder his last time. Backs him up. Milne inside the 10, right at the 10 of Washington, but picks up 11 on the return. Washington will get another chance on offense, trailing 7-0. Backs already this year and throwing on first down. And open. There's McLaurin just short of the 40.
He's a little guy, man. I tell you what, he's really worked on mechanics, really worked on arm strength, and even a little tip right there by Hicks, and still finds. I mean, how about the concentration right there? When that ball is tipped and it starts to flutter, your ability to keep your eyes on that, if you're Scary Terry, and haul that thing in, that's an amazing effort.
Pickup of 18. Throwing again is Heineke, and that's batted away. Yeah, he's barely, well, they list him at 6'1", but barely 6 feet.
Well, you know, this is one of the things you do when you have a guy that's a little bit shorter. You get in what they call these jam fronts. That means both guards and the center covered, and that window closed very quickly. That was Tonga closing the window, getting that ball batted.
Khyiris Tonga signed off the Atlanta practice squad, drafted by the Bears. He played there last year, getting a little more playing time with James Lynch for the injured Dalvin Tomlinson. Samuel in the backfield with Gibson. Gibson in front, and he gets the football, and Antonio Gibson across the 42-yard line. I want to go back to Heineke because the only coach that showed up at his pro day when he came out of Old Dominion was Scott Turner. That's where the relationship began, and then Turner brought him to Minnesota, and then brought him to Carolina, and brought him here.
Yeah, I said to Taylor, I said, you only have one person show up at your pro day? He goes, no. I had about 20 scouts there, but just one coach. Scott Turner being that coach, and he loves it, man. He just loves the energy and the growth that he has seen over the last year.
Heineke is in trouble, and he can't get out of it. Sacked inside the 33-yard line. Excellent defense once again. DJ Wanham now with 3.5 sacks this season.
Yeah, and it really starts with 55, Zadarius Smith, right here in the inside. And he's one of those guys that just comes on the opposite side, over left guard. Zadarius Smith, when you get inside, you're a skilled pass rusher out there, and I told you, like, he'll line up all over the football field. He's a defensive end, slides into the inside. That's such a tough task for any guard or any center to contend with.
Rager backing up to the 10. And could he get out of there? A swarm, yeah, well, almost. Took a couple of Washington Commanders to close in on him. Amani Rodgers to Minnesota. Defenses have tightened up a bit. Dalvin Cook looking for some room. Maybe to the 14 before he got shoved back. Defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio for Ron Rivera's team.
Just when you tell your defense right now, this defensive line, the strength of this Washington football team is, guys, hold them down here. We'll flip the field. Let's give our offense an opportunity. We get them off the field right here, you know we're going to have good field position. That's what you're basically, championing your defense to get that done right now.
Jefferson 5 catches already. It's Cook. And Dalvin Cook run out of bounds. They're beat up at linebacker, but Jamin Davis second on the team in tackles, helping to close down on that, but he did get the first down, Dalvin Cook.
Well, that's one thing that Dalvin can do, because he can go 0 to 60 in 2 steps, and he can bounce to the outside even on an inside run like that.
Now he comes from a receiver spot. They go without a huddle. Little play action from Cousins. Floating one wide open, and moving up across the 40 is Adam Thielen. His first catch of the game.
How about complimentary football? When you get so concerned about 18 running people off, now we can just go and fill that void. There goes 18, Justin Jefferson, carrying 2 guys with him. Guess what happens? 2 guys go with 1. That means 1 guy's going to be wide open, and that's going to be Adam Thielen. Nice complimentary football.
His 500th career catch, Adam Thielen. All Minnesota, all the time. A career from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota to Minnesota State. Cook. .45-yard line.
And I love this. You know, you're not having great success with any of these runs, really. I mean, they're all 2-3-yard gains. But it's about continuing to feed that, because he continues to open up that play action. He continues to make the defense have to defend it. The other thing it does, wears those guys out. They've got a great rotation, 5 defensive linemen. Let's wear them down a little bit so they can't become as effective pass rushers.
And a cohesive offensive line. Fires in the middle of the field. Oh, Thielen had his hands on it, but couldn't hang on at the 40. Coverage is pretty good from Fuller.
Really good, and this is the second in-cutting route that Fuller has jumped and defended on Thielen. He did last drive right here. Look at that wrist, that arm just right around the hip there. And I'm telling you, DBs will tell you that's where you want to grab a guy. That's where you want to tug a guy. You want to get away with a little bit of a tug or a little bit of a PI. You get down by that hip, it's harder to see. Get that front hand across to knock that thing down, create this 3rd down.
The blitz is on. Batted down. Deron Payne got his arms up.
Well, anytime you bring that kind of pressure, here's Payne coming out here, and I tell you, it's just all about bringing that juice, bringing that pressure. If you know you're not going to get there, or you're just holding people up so you can get linebackers to slip through. Oh my gosh, they had 2 guys. Jamin Davis got a block, and then our guy Payne finished it up.
Look, he looks like he's ready to roll. Boy, what an adjustment by Del Rio's defense after that opening drive. Ryan Wright booms yards as he gets up across the 15-yard line. The rookie drafted in the 3rd round from Alabama, returned after he was shot to play in the last 4 games. By the way, both suspects in custody, and boy, the team really rallied around him. He worked hard to get back. Actually, they thought he had won the starting job in the preseason before that incident.
Yeah, you know, and they say to him, hey, listen, don't be perfect, just be disruptive, right? Go down, put your bean on people, and just run hard and be that guy that just gets extra yardage. There he is.
Robinson doing what you just talked about. So we got a game break. Shahada Carissa Thompson. Carissa?
Thank you, Chris. Chargers trailing 10-0 in Atlanta. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams, no problem. Austin Eckler punches this one in. His 9th touchdown of the season. Chargers now down by 3. Chris?
All right, thanks, Carissa. Enjoyed the Austin Eckler feature with our own Christina Pink.
She was awesome.
The pregame show.
Austin Eckler was okay. Christina was phenomenal.
You got the gig. Relax, Mark.
Oh, okay.
You're in. This is your team. That was good enough for a first down. Spotted at the 21 on the tough yards from Brian Robinson. He's taking some heat off Heineke. Throws for Robinson, who's knocked out at the 50, and there was Eric Kendricks.
I swear to you, Eric Kendricks is so much fun to watch. Like, his ability to navigate traffic, he's like a Waze app. I mean, he's just going to find his way through traffic. He has no issues with it. He reads it quickly, and then, bam, he just hits it. Here he comes, weaving through traffic, wrapping up. That's the 2nd great tackle he's made, and the wrap-up is key. Love watching him play.
Loss of 4, 2nd on the team in tackles, and one of the leaders of this Viking defense teams well with Jordan Hicks. It's Antonio Gibson to the 20. And Heineke's upset about something. There's a flag. Came in at the 23-yard line, that side of the field.
You're going to get what you're going to get. You cannot submarine as a corner when people are coming at you. You know, offensive linemen coming at you. You can't cut those guys at the point of attack, and that's exactly what Dantzler did. He went
Personal
low.
foul, illegal low block, offense. Number 3, I'm sorry, defense. Number 3, 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic. First down.
And here it is, right here. There you see him rolling up underneath the offensive. I believe that was a guard, got rolled up on, but that's been a rule. That's Turner right there. Cannot go through the blocker low to get to the ball carrier. You've got to take that guy on.
And that is the first penalty against the Vikings this game. They had 10, a season-high 10 last week in their win over the Cardinals. Washington has just one that's been accepted. Gibson hit hard when he got to the 33-yard line. Tough running yards against this Missouri, who was drafted in the 4th round, stepped in for Dantzler. The penalty called on Dantzler, who, by the way, is playing with a neck injury, so we might see a little more of Evans or Andrew Booth, the rookie from Clemson.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, you want to play, you want to show that you can play, show that you'll support the run, show that you'll support those things, and guess what? You'll get more opportunity to be a difference maker in the pass plays.
Here's another run to Gibson. Mark, I know it not just offensive lineman, your background thinking, especially your days here in Washington, but you wanted to see, and I know Scott Turner told you, more commitment to the run by this Washington team.
Yeah, well, one thing, it's going to take some pressure off of Heineke in the passing game. So when you can consistently grind out 3-4 yards, it opens up your play action, but it takes pressure off you as a pass protection unit. Think about this. 7 different O-line combos. They've started 4 different centers, and they've played 5 different centers here in week 9. So it's amazing the lack of continuity to still have the success they've been having.
From the pocket, fluttered ball incomplete. The pressure was on as Heineke was knocked down. It gives Zadarius Smith, he can put pressure on anybody.
Well, Zadarius Smith is just such a great player, but again, you want to slow these guys down. You want to take some of the starch out of them, and Zadarius Smith turning that tight corner, that hoop against Charles Leno right there, and when you can do that and consistently put that pressure on, and they have been giving Heineke fits back there behind the line of scrimmage.
Already the 4th punt. Over the head of Rager. Bounces. Can they down this? They do. Around the 5-yard line. Good special teams play. Christian Holmes was down there on the punt. What a week, what a year Zadarius Smith is having for the Vikings. Drive. Kendall Fuller is lined up against him, bottom of your screen.
That man-to-man linebacker out here on the running back.
Floating one and almost a one-handed catch by Thielen.
And it always starts right here. Jonathan Allen, he is the guy, so big, physical, and the quickness. You see just the swim. I mean, he looked like a windmill right there, coming up, creating that pressure, and you know, there's a half a step sooner. You have to throw it a little bit sooner than you're ready to throw it if you're Kirk Cousins, because of that pressure creates just the slight of that incompletion that's so close.
3rd and 11. Underneath, Cousins completes. Knocked down around the 18 is Hawkinson, his 3rd catch of the game, his 3rd catch as a member of the Vikings, and Cam Curl was there to tackle him, and it's 4th down.
Well, that's what we talked about the last drive. They weren't able to do it because Minnesota got a couple of first downs that time. You stop them short. You don't let them get that first down. Now you've got an opportunity to flip the field for your offense and maybe generate here at the end of the first half, maybe generate a little bit of offense and get yourself in scoring position.
Been a battle of punts after that touchdown drive to start the game for the Vikings. Wright booms it away. At the 25, Dax Milne. Across the 35, brought down by a herd of Vikings. We're not going anywhere, but enjoy this from Progressive.
Why is he looking at it?
Well, I'm not a cat expert because we don't have a cat.
I'm telling you that I shut the slider last night.
Are you sure about that?
I closed it.
Why don't we check the replay?
That is very aggressive, I don't think.
This What Really Happened replay is brought to you by Progressive. One thing no one would challenge, saving money when you bundle home and auto with Progressive.
Yeah, that does look like me.
That's because it is you.
61-yard punt. Dax Milne returns up to the 37-yard line. Well, Washington will try again on offense. McLaurin 1 catch. Logan Thomas, tight end, no catches. Heineke's been sacked twice, dumps it off to Terry McLaurin, who goes out of bounds, or spot this probably around the 45-yard line. McLaurin, the heroic game, 6 catches, 130-plus yards in that hometown hero performance. He went back to Indianapolis, and they rallied to beat the Colts. During the 2-minute warning, each team all 3 timeouts. Antonio Gibson for the first down.
In return, so you want to double up here.
Heineke backing up. Throws that one away and plays it safe. Pressure was on from Zadarius Smith.
I tell you, Zadarius Smith, he's got that skill set, right? That he can not only turn a corner, we've seen this, but now watch him point, just put his foot in the ground and just drive big Lucas back there. Just collapse in that pocket. And, you know, and they have been putting Heineke under duress and having to move around in that pocket. There's never been a clean pocket. And that's guy right there, 55 is a big reason for that.
Cornelius Lucas is 6'8", almost 330. And the Vikings leap.
Offside. Defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
It's all about that timing. He's like, I thought I had a key. I thought I knew when they were snapping the ball. I tell you what, every now and again, though, that's good for a defense, right? Because it puts the offense on. It's an uneasy feeling when those guys are timing up that snap count. So everyone out there, again, you got to let them know you're coming.
Gibson to the 40 maybe as the clock runs. Yeah, right, Mark, if you're the Vikings too, you want to see what they do here, whether you should use your timeouts or not, knowing that they're going to get the ball.
They're just playing with those 3 timeouts. There's just so much time right now.
Gibson for the first down. And the clock running. They line up without a huddle here. Inside the 40 of the Vikings. Heineke throws and incomplete. Logan Thomas was open.
Just got to get it. I mean, just got to get it out there. And you're running just a little 3-level flood route. You see it right here. One guy goes deep, one guy intermediate. That's Logan right there. And then, he's just so upset with himself, right? Because he had that thing wide open. Logan Thomas running the out. You had the underneath guy wide open there in that 3-man flood route. You got to be able to complete that thing.
This is the furthest the Washington offense has gone so far into Minnesota territory in this game. Heineke has a moment. And open inside the 25-yard line. Pass completed. Who else? Terry McLaurin, his go-to guy.
Well, we talked to Heineke about critical moments and why you just perform so well in these critical moments. He said, really, because you stop thinking. You just play. And when things break down, you find your favorite guy. And that's Scary Terry right there. And that's one thing he has been great at here the last couple of weeks. The end of halves, at the end of game, making big plays. And you know what? It always starts right here. Great job inside on Zadarius Smith. When you get that kind of protection, your quarterback can step up and just deliver a dart right down there to McLaurin.
Yeah, McLaurin has really become, in the last few years, the face of this franchise, at least amongst the players. His 3rd catch of the game. Picked up a dozen, and Cameron Dantzler, that neck injury and penalty, still out at the corner spot for the Vikings. And Heineke gets rid of that. He was ready to get swallowed up. Gibson was in the area. There was a timeout used by Washington prior. And then this incompletion on 2nd and 10.
Well, it's bottled up, and you've got the underneath. He just didn't see the underneath receiver going across the football field, and then Heineke, once that thing starts closing down you, when you're a shorter quarterback, when it starts to press into you, when it starts to close down, that's when you lose that vision. Still have plenty of time to take what they're giving you right off the bat and keep moving the ball down the field.
From the 26, Heineke incomplete. Delivered it to De'Ami Brown, but Hicks made sure he didn't catch it. There is a flag. Looks like a flag down, or is that part of the Washington mouthpiece? Looks like they picked it up.
I mean, it's just right there. It's on the hands. It's the gloves that fall out of.
And Jahan Dotson remains out.
Right.
The rookie's done so well for them with that hamstring, trying to come back, so they miss his speed, his reliability. 3rd and 10. Heineke's throw is batted away. Zadarius Smith.
Well, they're finding ways to double team Zadarius Smith right here. They're going to get 2 guys on him. You see it right here, center, guard, and he knows, hey man, if you're going to double team me, I'm just going to sit back here on the line of scrimmage and see if I can time this thing up, knock the ball back in the face of the quarterback.
They might have to triple team him, shove him back, or ask him to be a little more polite. He's dominating this game. 44-yard field goal try. Joey Sly. The kick is up, and he's got it. 9 out of 11 in the field goal department this year. Ball, the World Cup on Fox. That was an 18-yard pickup and already the 4th catch for Hockenson.
Well, you've got to have great trust, great belief in your quarterback. And understanding he leads the league in throwaways right now. Understanding he's not going to put the ball in harm's way.
Blitz is on. Cousins gets rid of it and almost intercepted. Kendall Fuller back there, but Cousins was just unloading in a hurry.
Well, he and Adam Thielen not on the same page right there, not reading the same thing, and maybe you lose sight because Fuller stays on top of Thielen, right? So the natural progression on pressure is if he stays on top, throw that back shoulder. Watch 29 stay on top of Thielen right here, meaning, hey man, we got to change this from a go to a stop. Kirk Cousins probably loses sight of it because he's got so much pressure in his face. He throws the goal regardless, while Thielen's playing the stop right there.
Cousins floating one, and what a catch on the move! Adam Thielen. And an injured Viking. That's Garrett Bradbury, the center.
Well, they're just coming off basically doing double crosses here, right? So you have a low cross and then you have a high cross. Low cross eats up coverage. Adam Thielen over the top. Beautiful catch. I mean, this is a beautiful pitch and catch, and this is just aggressive. Believing in your quarterback, believing in what you guys are doing as an offense. And look at this, outstretched fingertips of Adam Thielen. They just missed the connection on the last one. Go right back to 19 for the big pass play.
36-yard pickup, and for Thielen, that's his longest catch of the season as the medical staff checks on Garrett Bradbury. That's Austin Schlottman, the reserve center, wearing number 65, coming out. "18 seconds remain. Bradbury heading over to the Viking sidelines. Some Viking fans who have made their way here. So it'll be Schlottman in the middle there after that completion to the 21-yard line of Washington. Wow, they made up a lot of ground after they had stalled their initial drive for the touchdown.
It's always a little hairy when you first come in there as a backup center and you got to snap the ball in this first one with the pressure of this defensive line bearing down on you in shotgun.
Guys like Allen and Payne and Sweat. Cousins incomplete for Cook. 14 seconds, one timeout remains Minnesota. They got charged, obviously, on the Bradbury injury, or at least when he headed over to the sideline.
With that one timeout, the entirety of the field is open to you, obviously. He's got that opportunity to throw it in the middle of the football field.
They're already in pretty good field goal range, although Greg Joseph, the Viking kicker, has had some issues. Play clock right at 0. And looks like the flag down. Did they beat it? Cousins frustrated.
The layup game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Okay, but that's the center you just talked about. New guy comes in, is not used to playing, although he should be ready.
But that's what they preach. I mean, this is what we've talked about, you know, the situational awareness, the situational masters, and to have that mistake push you back 5 yards, those are the things that they haven't been, those critical errors they haven't been making, which is why they've won so many of these one-score games.
Cousins heaves it for the end zone, knocked around, and it's caught by Danny Johnson for a Washington interception. Jefferson looked like he had a shot at it, and on the deflection, that's only the third interception for the Washington defense this season.
Well, it's about length, right? Length and speed. St. Juice right here on the one-on-one. Watch him turn. Get the field. Now he goes up, plays the receiver's hands. See how he gets both hands inside and splits the hands of the receiver? He just goes.
Following the Danny Johnson first career interception and the half, kept it a 7-3 game, and having a chance, Antonio Gibson. And Gibson up across the 30, across the 40, run out of bounds. What a return. He volunteered, told Ron Rivera last few games, I want to return kicks, and produced a big return there. Let's head down to the field and Christina Pink.
Hey, thanks, guys. Talking to Ron Rivera at the half. You know, Taylor Heineke has had several batted balls in this game. Coach telling me that's what happens at the line of scrimmage when our guys are blocking well up front. Things get stymied, and their guys start jumping. But we are also looking for some routes down the field, so we got to get the ball out a bit quicker. Defensively, I asked him about his defensive friend, but all he wanted to talk about was Justin Jefferson. He said we cannot let 18 get going the way he did at the start of the first half.
Thank you, Christina. Brian Robinson in the backfield, and he gets the football, bounces, and doesn't go far, maybe a yard or two across the 50. That was a 45-yard return from Gibson. So maybe the special teams, the punt coverage has been good for Washington. The rest of the way has been good, and along the defense, keeping them in this game.
Yeah, and if you're a Washington fan, I mean, this is kind of games you guys play, right? I mean, especially with Taylor Heineke, you play these tough, you know, hard matchups, and you find a way to stay in that game, and then Heineke starts to make magic as this game goes into the fourth quarter. So that's kind of been the modus operandi for this football team here the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Mark, you do get credit for not turning it over, and they haven't so far, as Heineke avoids pressure and heaves it deep. Samuel, the officials, Samuel makes the catch. There were 3 Vikings and an official, but Samuel made the catch. One official is saying he's in for the touchdown. They're checking if he was touched when he went down, other than by the official.
Well, Cameron, Bynum's all over this.
It's a touchdown.
It's a touchdown, and you're running down the football field, and you see Bynum right there, runs into the official. He's just sizing it up. And somehow Samuel just finds a way in there. Anybody touch?
It certainly didn't look like it on the replay. Steve Patrick, the back judge, ran interference. Like chuckling, but Samuel stayed with it. What a heave from Heineke. They were reviewing, but ruled a touchdown after some discussion at the goal line. And, of course, they do get help from New York on this, reviewing Walt Anderson and crew.
I mean, how unlikely. You just threw it as a quarterback into a Minnesota team meeting, and your guy comes away with it. Here's the official right here. Watch, he's trying to get out of the way, bless his heart. Bynum had it sized up, and here comes Samuel right through there.
Yeah, that looked like Steve.
Play, is under review.
Steve Patrick, the back judge, who was who was way back. Wow, what a fun play.
Right.
49 yards, our rules analyst, Dean Blandino, watching back in Los Angeles. Dean, a couple of questions. Looked like he wasn't touched. And is that just a bad break if an official gets in the way of the defense on a play?
It is. The official's just part of the field of play, and it's just a bad break. And really, in that play, what they were looking for, after Samuel gets control, any touch by a Vikings player would put him down, and then he rolls over, and that last touch by Harrison Smith looked like he was already up, and that looks like Curtis Samuel's ready for the new Matrix movie.
The extra point is good as we go. Yeah, he alertly, and thank you, Dean. I mean, once he caught it, which took a lot, Mark, he was twisting and turning to get in the end zone. He didn't think he was touched.
There, you got double coverage there. You've got Bynum coming over. I mean, he's tracking the ball, and somehow Samuel, I mean, you want to talk about being able to vision, track that ball in the air, in traffic. That's just an exceptional catch, concentration, and then having the wherewithal to get up and say, man, I wasn't touched, I'm going to score. Good for you. Look at that smile. Yeah, I'd be smiling too.
If you count the official, quadruple coverage.
Yeah.
And his 17th career touchdown catch. It's the second longest of his career. And, you know, the throw, you saw Heineke was on the ground. He had a throw against Green Bay. He was talking to us about, you may have seen the pictures where his eyes are closed, and he converts on third down with the defender at his face.
Well, that one, he was on the ground on his belly when they completed that one. Never a doubt. Never a doubt in his mind.
He had 48 passing yards in the first half, did Heineke, and got 49 on that play and the touchdown to Curtis Samuel, and it's a whole new game for Washington. Touchback. Viking offense out to the 25-yard line.
And this goes back, we talk so much about one-score games. Go back to the end of the first half where Minnesota botches a play at the end. They get a 5-yard penalty, forces them to throw it into the end zone, where they have an opportunity to kick a field goal, gets intercepted on a tip ball, and the next thing you know, that's that situational football. That's that, you know, gaining inches, as Kirk Cousins told us. That's where we've been so good in these one-score ball games, and that's the difference in this game right now.
After that opening drive where he was perfect and had the touchdown toss to Jefferson, Washington making the defensive adjustment. They've moved the ball, but just haven't produced points. Rolling out, being chased, and throws that away before the sack could be counted by James Smith-Williams. Let's check in with Christina.
Well, Chris, center Grant Bradbury is back in the game, so that's the good news. But the bad news is cornerback Cameron Dantzler has been downgraded to out with an ankle injury for the Vikings. Coach Kevin O'Connell told me at the half he expected his defense to make a stop. Instead, they gave up the big explosive play. As for his offense, he said, we have to get back to what we did on that first drive, sustain drives, sustain plays, and handle their pressure looks.
Thank you, Christina. From the 25-yard line on 2nd and 10. Dalvin Cook spins, stops short at the 29-yard line. Cook has only carried the ball 9 times.
I will say this. One thing about this defense, just watch the nature of these defensive backs, these linebackers, their swarming nature, their aggressiveness. That looked like it was a wide open play. The next thing you know, it gets closed down and you get, what, 4 yards?
On a 3rd and 6. Extra pressure coming, and the throw is complete to Hockenson for a first down across the 41-yard line.
What a weapon. What a trade to go get Hockenson. And he's a guy, like, one of the things about tight ends is what do we want these guys to do? We want them to eat up the middle of the football field, right? You see the stick move right there, get himself that wide open space in the middle, and you want to eat that underneath coverage. You want to eat up those safeties. That opens up the outside for the one-on-ones. What a value pick for the Minnesota Vikings going out and getting Hockenson at the trade deadline.
4 draft picks in the trade. Irv Smith with a high ankle sprain, out injured. Munt and Nick Muse is active today at that position. Cousins to throw. He's going to run up in the pocket and throw incomplete.
How about Fuller? Fuller's been all over the field on these in-breaking routes. Great break, great play of the ball. One thing about Washington, they play a lot of what they call match coverage. So you're really eyeballing your zone area. And when your guy hits a certain spot in your zone or a guy comes into that, you jump that guy, you basically go man-to-man from that point forward. And that's really what they've excelled in here recently.
Dalvin Cook stopped right away. Jonathan Allen up front.
Just the quickness, you know, so powerful, but his quickness here over the center. Watch him. Inside, rip, take on two guys, split the double team. I mean, that you cannot coach it any better than that. And you put them behind the chains for a third down and long.
They need 11. A mix in the middle. The throw knocked away. Osborne, the target. McCain closing.
Well, we run a little games here, and we're going to get pressure right up the middle. Here it comes. That's Davis up the middle, and then watch them. They're sifting this out. As soon as they see the guy that gets into their zone, there's McCain driving on the football, so aggressive. They have been so good at the point of junction where that ball meets that receiver, breaking those things up.
Brian Wright, his fifth punt. Milne slipped one tackle before a group of Vikings bring him down inside the 20-yard line. 42-yard punt. Washington, the momentum has shifted here. Gibson knocked down right away. Harrison Smith, the six-time Pro Bowler, most tenured Viking, making the play.
We've seen this Vikings team, you know, with the ebbs and the flows during the course of a bunch of different ball games this year so far. And this is one of those things where you start to think to yourself, all right, how many more possessions do we have as an offense? Defensively, we have to go make something happen. We just gave up the big play. Can we get a stop and get our offense back on the football field? Off to a pretty good start there on that little screen.
Gibson, and running like a wild horse.
I love just the way he presses the hole. Press onside, get onside, and then find that hole and get back in there. Look at him, press, press, press. Hot, take off down the middle, and then the power. That's one thing that has changed. He really has run hard, and I think it's the combination of being fresh and also watching Brian Robinson run. I mean, he's adopted some of that just kind of violent style at the point of attack.
Ron Rivera said not that he needed it, but it did. The competition with a bit more of a fire for Gibson, with Robinson getting opportunities. Gibson again, he carries on first down.
He's got a nice little wiggle to him too, right? Guy right in the hole just wiggles past him. He's got a good feel for that. Maybe that's from being a wide receiver all through his college career. You know, he didn't start playing running back until he went to the Senior Bowl. And they said, hey, you're going to make that switch, make that position switch. And I tell you what, in space catching the ball, this is a guy that can do it all for Washington. And you saw how hard he's been running.
East Central Community College in Mississippi, then at Memphis. Drafted in the third round of his third season as Heineke sets up the screen to John Bates. That's how close he got to that first down marker. Yeah, Gibson has been a guy who's kind of carried through all the quarterback changes, 1,000 rushing yards back in 2021. He's been one of those reliable guys for Ron Rivera, who's been the stabilizer for this franchise since Ron's come in here.
And one of the things, you know, he's new to the position. He's young to the position, if you will. And having that rotation with him and Robinson has kept him fresher during the course of the week. So he's gotten those practice reps that even last year at this time, he just wasn't getting.
Got 10 touches today. Robinson is in. And he has the football, and he goes down right away. Into the arms of Jordan Hicks, who leads the Vikings in tackles. Coming over from the Arizona Cardinals and fitting in nicely.
Yeah, Jordan Hicks is just a good football player right here. Watch him just knife under the block. Right there, that's Bates. Just knife under that block, and then whoop, stand up, make the play, put the back in the backfield for a loss.
And he said they bonded with the defense. You know, they go out to dinner, they go to the hockey games together, but it was laser tag that he thought brought them together the most with his new team. Heineke and open at the 46-yard line. McLaurin.
I tell you what, that's just it's not natural. Watch Zadarius Smith on the pressure. and your ability to stand in there, know you're going to get hit, just go ahead and take the hit. This is why he brings energy to this football team. They just believe in his ability under duress, his ability when things aren't right to make a play. And you saw it right there, staring down the face of pressure and delivering a strike.
Pick up a 15 yards. Heineke rolling and completing. There's Terry McLaurin. Gets inside the 45. Kendricks wraps him up. It's now 5 catches for McLaurin.
Yeah, and you can feel momentum shifting, right, from the very open of this third quarter. And this is, you know, forget numbers, right? Forget analytics. This is why you love, and this is why Ron Rivera loves a guy like Heineke. He just defies the odds. He's too short. He didn't have a strong enough arm. He's not quite the athlete we'd like him to be. Guess what? All he does is go out there and help us win football games and bring energy to this Washington football team.
He said he plays every game like it's his last play because that's how it's been in his career. It happened when he appeared in the playoff game against the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay's Super Bowl year. Tough run from Brian Robinson. Heineke has lived on that. That kind of told him he wasn't even sure he'd be playing after that appearance. But he calls it his strength.
I love just the physicality. All right, we'll get into an old school formation. Just run lead. Bring our fullback in, Alex Arma. Tell you what, that's just good old physical football right there. Yeah, you go in for one play, get a big hit, and you come off the sideline. Good job. Get yourself some water.
Money down on 3rd and 2. Robinson carries. Wow. Looked like somebody. Wow. There was no flag. That was quick off the line on the Viking defense. I think it was Daniil Hunter. Boy.
Just watch. I mean, just watch the power. Just hand it to 8. Let him go. Put your shoulder in people. Just keep driving your legs in.
Yeah, Hunter up front, but Zadarius Smith came around from the side from behind, and they're staying out there on a 4th down and 1 to go. This would be a field goal of way out of range. The Commanders are 4 of 11 on 4th down.
Their first time out of the half, 30-second timeout.
Play clock was running down. It's a timeout. We're staying here. This from State Farm.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I want that personal price plan. So how's this for personal? I draw mustaches on players' faces when they're asleep.
Coach Reed, you don't need to get that personal to get the State Farm personal price plan. It helps you create an affordable price just for you.
Oh.
Coach, it happened again.
I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
Call or click to get a quote today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Shout out to your dad, by the way, Mark Schlereth. Herb, a State Farm insurance agent for some 67 years. Just retired this week.
Just retired on Halloween. But what I really want to know is why Jake's on the team playing with the Chiefs. I just that's
game break.
Thank you, Chris. Falcons trailing 14-10. Mariota hands it off to Cordero Patterson, lowers his shoulder and rounds to the 3-yard score. His second of the day. Falcons back in front, 17-14. Chris?
Thank you, Carissa. That's one of the turnaround stories. The Falcons, just like this season, the Vikings, the Giants. There's quite a few that last year were not playoff teams that are threatening to be that this season. There's always a few. In week 9, 6-1 Vikings, 4-4 Washington. Robinson, it'll be 3rd down. Kendrick's helmet coming off.
This is Washington football, right? All right, just grind it out. Just stay close. Rely on our defense to make plays. Put ourselves in 3rd manageable situations. Let's see if we can make a football play. That's how Ron Rivera coaches it. He understands what he has.
On a 3rd and 2, Washington has outrushed the Vikings today. That's Samuel moving around in the backfield with Heineke. Heineke to throw if he can. He's got room to run if he can turn the corner. He can't, but he floats one, and the catch is made. Falling at the 45 for a 1st down is Samuel.
Well, the only time you want to escape to the outside is when somebody takes an unnatural inside angle. So he does there instead of climbing the pocket, and then it's just about playing football. Go find somebody. You see Samuel right here. Stop, come back to the football. Your quarterback's in trouble. That's how it's done, right? That's a perfect scramble drill right there. Find a way to get loose from that coverage. Go give your quarterback a target so he can make a throw.
The mobility of Heineke made that happen from the pocket. Throws incomplete. McLaurin had 3 or 4 Vikings around him. Even had Harrison Phillips drop back, tuck into coverage. Heineke is prone sometimes to those turnover moments. But so far, so good in this game.
You know, I'd like to see them get Curtis Samuel. You know, he usually runs it 3 to 6 times, designed runs. He's had 1 carry in this game so far, maybe a jet sweep, something of that nature, right here in the slot.
Heineke keeps, tries to fake, spins, down, and he gets a first down. We'll check that spot. But it was a spin move that got him the opportunity of getting close to a first down.
And that's the guy who's the sure tackler. We've been witnessing it all afternoon. Right there, Eric Kendricks, he just puts the spin on him. How about that move? How about that move? I mean, that's why they love him. That's why he brings that energy to this football team.
They spotted it just short. Looked like it could have been a first, but let's see if we're going to have a challenge. Yeah, I mean, I think Heineke and Ron Rivera both thought that was good enough. We'll see with another look.
Washington is challenged to the roll of the field, and the runner was down short of the line to gain.
Man, how about that spin? I mean, that is exceptional. Let's look at the spot right here.
Can't really see where his knee is, but
see where his knee touched down. The ball certainly looked like it made it across the line to gain, but
and Rivera's right on that sideline where
it all has to do with where his knee. Now, if that right knee touches the ground, let's see if we can see it right here.
Rivera 1 out of 3 in challenges this year.
It's kind of blocked right there.
No.
Right here. Is that knee down? Right there.
That's how, but we can't see where the ball
is on that particular angle.
And if you
looks like the left knee, actually, not the right knee.
And again, I don't know, do they stay with the call on the field? If that has anything to do with it, if we really can't see it. At first glance, it looked like he had it. As Dean Blandino is looking and watching with us. Dean, what can you tell?
Yeah, I think it's the left knee that hits first. The line of gain was the 46-yard line. And I think he actually is short. You can piece a couple of angles together. They have access to all of our camera feeds, and they can put them together. They're all in sync. One angle shows the knee. This is the best look for where the ball ends up. I think if you piece those angles together, he is short.
Yeah, it does look that way, Dean. Thank you so much. Yeah, it did look like that knee hit, that left knee hit, and that ball hadn't crossed that line yet.
Well, they can go frame by frame as they describe it, freeze it, blow it up, all that stuff, whatever they need to do to try and get it right, since it was challenged by Rivera. But the scrambling ability, something where I think he saves that for when the team needs it the most in these comeback moments, and now with a lead wanting to keep the football.
Yeah, it looks like it's about...
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands. The run is down short of the line to gain. Washington is charged. It's timeout.
Yeah.
So he is short, and we're not judging his height here. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the spot on the field. So, but the big thing is they're down to just one timeout.
Yeah, they had one earlier when they had a substitution issue with their offense, and now obviously the challenge that failed. So down to one timeout. And we know their propensity to be in these one-score games, late in football games. 2 great drives last week to beat the Colts when they were down 16-7. So, you know, that's a factor right there, not having those timeouts.
And down to one challenge, as you saw Minnesota having an opportunity defensively. They stopped him on 4th and 1 last time. This is only a 3rd and 1. But again, the mobility of Heineke can be in play here. It's a handoff to the tight end, Amari Rodgers. And look at him fly. churning his way inside the 25 of the Vikings. Armani Rogers, the rookie from Ohio. Undrafted free agent.
That's just a gutty call right here. You're going to get an arc release to get up to the second level. So you hold Hunter, the defensive end, right there on the edge, and then you work up to that second level so you can create that extra opportunity for Rodgers. That's a great design and a gutsy call by Scott Turner, the offensive coordinator.
A pickup of 24 yards.
I love how you just freeze that defensive end. You know how athletic he is. Freeze him, and he is fired up so you can get to that edge.
The pitch back to Heineke. He's throwing it deep and incomplete for John Bates. Tight ends involved in the back-to-back plays for the Commanders.
Ron Rivera, you see that smirk on his face. He's like, okay, I love that jet sweep, but let's put this one in the bag, okay? I mean, we don't. All right, we're running the ball. We're controlling the tempo of the game. I get it. But let's get back to that.
That was a stare like, did we really just try that?
Right.
There's Scott Turner. Gibson back at it, running back. Samuel moving around. Gibson the football and runs out of bounds around the 20-yard line. It'll bring up a third down for Washington. They have dominated the second half of this game as the third quarter is winding down.
Ed Donatel, defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. This is what they've been really good at, right? I mean, holding people in front, don't give up that first down, force them to kick that field goal. See everybody lined up there, double plugs in the A-gap with the linebackers.
Heineke is in trouble here, and he's going to get sacked on a third down, and Zadarius Smith with another big defensive play, but a flag is down.
Personal foul, taken by the face mask. Defense, number 55. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
It was quick, but they got him.
Yeah, right there you can see his thumb gets in that face mask, yanks the helmet. That's so hard. I mean, you're just out there fighting, trying to make a play. It's never intentional. You throw your hand out there and you get a handful of face mask.
1 second remaining. That was big from a 7-yard loss. A fresh set of downs inside the 12. What a heck of a game, but a tough call. And it was a fish.
Start to feel it, right? You start to take that energy that your quarterback brings and everybody plays with that same level of intensity.
And maybe it tired the Viking defense. Heineke has it. Throws. Catch made. Into the end zone, and that's a Washington touchdown. Dax Milne.
Now this is just absolutely perfect. You want to talk about just a whip route, get right back to the outside, sell that over, sell that shallow cross, bam, stick your foot in the ground, get out and find the pylon. You can't do it any better than that. Look at the quarterback right there, just slinging it sidearm.
First touchdown catch of the season for Milne.
Look at it.
Fired up Heineke. That's the first career touchdown for the second-year player. Drafted out of BYU in the 7th round.
I was talking to General Marty Schweitzer, and he said to me, he goes like, hey, this kid, Heineke, he reminds us of Billy Kilmer back in the day. We just loved him, right? Nothing's perfect, but he just brings an energy to this football team.
Yeah,
it's an old reference right there, Chris. I knew you would get it.
Yes, I love it.
Because you and I are both old.
He was the quarterback of the Over the Hill gang, right?
Sure.
You and I are slightly over the hill. But what a moment for Dax Milne. And for Heineke, you know, in the NFC East, and they're back in the conversation. Maybe not for the division, but at least to stay in playoff contention. But they were at the kids' table back in 2020, right? We're coming up on Thanksgiving. But,
sure.
But now you got the undefeated Eagles, and how good the Giants and Cowboys are doing. Well, hey, they're living the good life. They're moving up with the big shots.
And this is like dude, look at that score go. Look at these guys, right? They're just having their drinks, enjoying.
And my kind of crowd. Eagles already won on Thursday. Cowboys and Giants. Of the season, they have had to come from behind, fell back 7-0, but since then, good team effort all the way around.
The atmosphere here in Washington right now, these fans are so excited about the way this team continues to grind, and they just love this kind of, just this attitude, the way they play together, the energy that they bring. They are embracing this squad.
And Taylor Heineke has brought that. You said it, not just on offense, but the entire team, the defense, the special teams, they've played that way. And Heineke delivering the touchdown toss, his second of the game after that wild one to Curtis Samuel. And they have a 10-point lead. So Kirk Cousins, they're used to close games, one-score games. This is a little bit different, though. On the road, down 2 scores.
Well, I will say this. You're going to have probably 3 possessions left if you're the Minnesota Vikings right now. And even with these 3 possessions and this game starting to shrink on you, you still have to run the ball. They have to be able to do that to set up their play action and to keep this.
It's got louder in here. The pitch to Cook. Vikings in the third quarter had just 9 plays for 13 yards. So let's get more of that Washington defense, Christina.
Yeah, Washington defense has been good, and they could be getting much better very soon. Chase Young returning to the practice field after suffering that ACL injury last year. He's coming off the surgery, told me he just wants to feel like himself again. He's getting much closer. Could be a big boost to this defense, guys.
All right, thank you, Christina. Cousins knocked to the ground and incomplete. And he's been a force at practice. Chase Young hoping to get back. And
let me tell you what, too, this guy right here, Jonathan Allen, is wearing people out. And this goes against my better judgment, but he might be my favorite player. I usually don't say that about D linemen because I don't like them, but he may have become my favorite player.
I know Johnny Mudds is one of your favorite offensive line. There's Chase cheering on the team, and Ron Rivera said it's possible he could play next week, and it's a big one because they're at Philadelphia. Cousins fires, and that's intercepted. A flag is down, but Kendall Fuller has the pick. And Fuller is going to take it all the way back for a touchdown. Make that Benjamin St. Juice. We'll check the flag.
Well, there's a lot of contact over there between St. Juice and Jefferson. Inside leverage, force him to the sideline. Little grab right there.
Defense, number 25. Foul to foul, automatic, first time.
Yeah, he's got a hold of his shoulder pads right there. You see him grabbing Justin Jefferson.
Negates the pick in the return, but it's the right call. He's been playing really well.
Here's the thing I love about it, though, right? I mean, you just gave up a big play. And that's one of those things you don't want to ever do, right? You don't want to give up one of those big plays, momentum. But it won't stop the physicality, and it won't stop the aggressiveness of Ron Rivera's defense. I promise you that.
Cousins pressure.
There it is, off the edge.
They got him. It's a sack. It is St. Juice.
What I tell you, you get in a nasty split, you condense the formation, right? You bring your receivers in, and that gives St. Juice an opportunity right here to just take it inside and sack the quarterback. Little cat corner blitz, they don't pick it up. And before Kirk Cousins can even step up, St. Juice has got him on the ground.
Quick snap, Cousins throws at the 35. Across the 40, short of the 44 is Jefferson. A flag comes in on the back end of that play.
wonder if they're going to get maybe a horse collar here at the tail end by it's Danny Johnson. Got him around the neck. It starts there.
There is no foul for face mask on the play.
It was around his neck, so I don't think the horse collar. I think they thought that there was a face mask.
Has to be inside the collar, right, for you to make the call.
The nameplate are inside the collar. Hand was on the neck.
They could pick up the flag, so there is no call, and now it's 3rd and 7 from the 41-yard line. Cousins from the pocket, floating one, and right underneath is Justin Jefferson. On the move and all the way down inside the 15 as Cousins is laid out.
Yeah, just going to get the slot fade on the go here, and it's just, I mean, Justin Jefferson just does such an amazing job at closing cushion, meaning he just gets on that DB before that DB is ready.
Hawkinson, who is tackled right away. Deron Payne made the play. And Cousins is coming back in.
I thought they might hand it off there. They did the next best thing, I guess, when your backup quarterback comes in. Design a screen, dump it off to Hawkinson, but this defensive line, man, they are hunting right now. They are just going after it, so aggressive. Deron Payne making the play.
Hawkinson, 6 catches, bottom of your screen. Jefferson in the slot. They love moving him around. The throw is incomplete. Tried to get it to Jefferson. Sweat put the heat on.
And Sweat just, I mean, coming back in here and watch him come up underneath there, running a game. Jonathan Allen takes 2 right there. Ezra Cleveland can't get off. I mean, Kirk Cousins, you have 0 time right there, Chase Young. Yeah, I'm coming back, guys. Save some for me. Save a little bit for me.
Keep us in the hunt. Cousins with time, and what a catch! The ball came out when he hit the ground. Thielen, that's a catch, and it looks like a fumble and recovery, but let's see if he was down.
What a play. I mean, what a play right there. Set up perfectly by Thielen. Run a little jerk route, so watch him stop, and then, boom, take off across the middle. See him stop, now he takes off, but doesn't fool Cameron Curl.
Is that a fumble, or is he down?
Is it a fumble? Did he catch it?
The rule of the field is that the receiver was down by contact at the 12-yard line.
Now remember,
at the 7-yard line.
Yeah, that's a good call. He's down. That is a good call.
The right call, Greg Joseph, to try a field goal and make it a 1-score game.
But again, what a great play by the Commanders. What a great play by Cameron Curl.
9 out of 14 field goals this year. This from 25 yards away. And Joseph is good. Fox Sports proudly supports the Thanks Coach campaign. Up to 2 U.S. sports to recognize the importance for all of us, the role that coaches play in the lives of our youth, on and off the field. Post on social media, Thanksgiving, a coach who positively impacted your life using the hashtag ThanksCoach. And if you want more information, visit up2us.org. I'm sure there was a coach that influenced your life early.
So many of them, right? Joe Gibbs here in Washington drafted me. I'm going to go to Coach Jim McGee, my high school coach. Guy that I stayed connected with, talked to on a weekly basis, just passed away a year ago to COVID. Love Coach Jim McGee, invested in my life so much, worked out with me when I was struggling with injuries. Coaches just make such a difference especially in our lives.
Yeah, the lower level where they're not paid, they affect youth and families and our heroes, so many. I know Ron Rivera, certainly, who His mom passed away, but enduring as a head coach and stabilizer. Here, some of the players respected how he said he learned how to focus and work through tough times because of his mom. When his dad would go off on employments in the military. Gibson on the return out to the 25-yard line. Yardage half by half, and we obviously have the rest of this fourth quarter to go. But the touchdown passes from Taylor Heineke, giving Washington the advantage here, and the defense has pretty much done a good job on Minnesota's offense after that initial touchdown drive.
Now they're already down one corner in Dantzler. Watch Evans come in there, the rookie corner. Struggle getting off the football field.
Brian Robinson does a lot to get just a little. Evans has staying in the game. They've tried to pick at him a few times, including a fourth down and short pass play that he broke up. I love what, and Heineke's in a good position. The great writer Thomas Boswell wrote about, let's give Taylor Heineke as they check on Thielen. You know, that maybe this is his time. He said, we know he has some turnover moments when Moxie turns to Poxy, which I had to look up Poxy, but means irrelevant or nothing or not as important. But he says this guy's deserved the chance to take this team forward. Dumps it off there. Robinson can't get away. And it's more than just the energy. It's the effectiveness of the way he works the team, especially in these situations in close games.
All right, and you watch the pressure up the middle of the football field. There's Smith again over the center, and then Evans. How good has this rookie been? He just got dinged up on that kickoff return, but he's made tackles. He's been great in coverage. He's really earned this opportunity. He's been given the opportunity, and he has done nothing to deter the coaches from putting him in there and keep playing him.
Well, you got Patrick Peterson on the other side, so I can see why you'd work on him, or at least go to that side. On a 3rd and 9, a test for Heineke, who has a moment here. Underneath at the 30-yard line, short of the first down, Antonio Gibson, but there is a flag down in the secondary area across midfield.
Illegal contact, defense, number 39. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Chandon Sullivan in the slot. He's trying to complain right there. You see him talking to the referees. He said, our feet got tangled up. That's inconsequential contact. But here it is. No, excuse me. Here he is right here in this slot. Watch him. Now, he gets there early. I get it. You should, right? But that's 100%. That's illegal contact.
And illegal contact across the league way up this year from last year. Gibson can't shake that tackle.
There's her guy again.
Evans all over the place.
There's plays in the run game. Listen, if you're going to be a corner in this league, you better be able to tackle, because these backs, they understand how to bounce out to the outside, challenge those corners. You always want to see that. Young corners tackling, that's a good thing. Tell you what, Evans playing his butt off right now.
Loss of 1. Gibson, the running back. Now he switches a receiver, top of your screen. Heineke throws middle high, and it's intercepted. Harrison Smith with the takeaway. And Smith inside the 20. Inside the 15, Vikings will take over. There was that Moxie to Poxy on the turnover reference to.
It starts with pressure on the inside. Bullard just driving the pocket.
I love the bowling move. Across every bowler loves that. That's good teamwork right there.
That is excellent teamwork and throwing the strike right there. But watch the inside right here, 93, just pressing, and that gets you to the point where you don't step into the throw. You get off your back foot a little bit. You don't drive the football. It sails on you. And when that ball sails on you, bad things happen. There's Harrison Smith, the 11-year veteran making the play.
Yeah, his 4th interception of the season, and you're right about as we love the.
Hicks, go! Is he gonna go? Is he gonna go? Oh, yes, he went. That's having the right English on that thing.
And that was, Mark, really a good illustration of Heineke and the problem, because Logan Thomas, your tight end, he's 6'6", and to overthrow him, something really has to be off. And obviously Smith playing center field back there made the big play. That's the first takeaway for the Vikings today.
You know, and you've got to be able to throw from different platforms, and you've got to be able to throw off your back foot. You've got to put a touch on it. But when you don't step in and drive it, what ends up happening mechanically is you tend to sail the ball a little bit, because you don't drive through, you throw it from the back. And that's where it sailed, and obviously bad results happen when that goes on.
Cousins batted away. What a defensive play from Montez Sweat. That return, by the way, Harrison Smith, 35 yards, set the Viking offense up, but it's now 2nd and 10.
Well, he's just going to come off the top of the screen right here, and he reads it, right? Running back going up to basically hit him, and you want to make contact with that defensive end and then slip out a little bit, but Sweat feels it, reacts.
Osborne, bottom of your screen. Cousins for the other way, and in the end zone, Dalvin Cook hauls it in for a Viking touchdown. His first touchdown catch of this season.
Well, we got him on the wheel, right? We're going to run this post, and then we're going to run that wheel down the sideline. Hit the out, go to the up. Look at that catch. Look at that. I mean, the ball placement right there in the one arm. Take it in by Dalvin Cook. You get the one arm held, I'll just catch it with one hand then. You're going to grab the other one, I'll catch it with the old left hand.
Set up by the Harrison Smith pick. Dalvin Cook looking like a receiver working against Cam Curl. And we got a tie game. Just under 8 minutes to go. The Viking defense in a one-score game with a takeaway. And then cool Kirk Cousins to Cook. It's 17 all. Fox. From the 25-yard line. Now in a tie game after they couldn't hold a 10-point lead. And Heineke comes out to throw. Can get rid of that. Excellent coverage all over the place.
Looking for Curtis Samuel. Watch Curtis Samuel come across the football field and Josh Metellus, right? Go beat him to the point.
That's good coverage.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. They don't have anybody open. Heineke's just got to throw it away.
And he did. Cook leading the Viking fans that are here in Landover, Maryland.
He almost got another reception on that throwaway.
Brian Robinson, 3 Vikings. 2 got to him right away. 3 end up making the tackle. Hicks and Kendricks have been all over tackling, and Zadarius Smith has been all over pressuring.
This comes down to probably the most important third down of the game so far for Washington, right? Because you've got all that momentum right now through Minnesota offensively. You just put up a touchdown by Cooks. You've had that field goal. I mean, you've had this swing to make it 17-17. Here it is.
Blitz is on, and Heineke is sacked at the 20. Daniil Hunter with a second of the game.
Daniil Hunter on one side, same side right here as Smith. Look at them. Stand up right here, get off the edge. I mean, you put 2 trained pass rushers right there on that right guard, that right tackle. Hunter turns the edge, and like I said, one of the most important third downs of the football game. Minnesota wins that down.
Jalen Reagor back to receive. And he has it at the 36 of Minnesota with some room across the 45-yard line and out of bounds. 44-yard punt, but the return sets Minnesota up. A tie game with just over 6 minutes to play.
Great field position right here from Minnesota. 6:12 left on the clock. You got all your timeouts. Remember, Washington's down to 1.
And when you say situational masters, I know you've been calling a few Viking games this year for people watching. So it's little details that make a difference.
Yeah, it's all the little details, all the understanding field position, where you want to attack. And for Washington, the same thing going on right now. What happens to the Minnesota Vikings if they get over the 50? Do they take a shot? All those little things that come up in conversation.
It's a one-score game as they give it a Cook. And again, Kirk Cousins, wow, what a push. Finally heard the whistle at midfield where Cousins said we learned from our, in a tie game, excuse me, so it's a one-score whoever gets the lead. But Cousins says we learned from our failures of last year. We were 6-8 in those one-score games, and we've won 5 in a row there. And he said, I knew that the coach coming in would have a team that, you know, already was ready to win. And O'Connell has made sure of that at least so far. See how they play this with 5.5 to go. How aggressive. Cousins connects at the 40. That's Hawkinson.
And this is something that they just haven't had. Right? They haven't had a tight end, like I said, that eats the middle of the football field right here. Split him out wide, get him away from the formation, and let him work man on man versus Curl. Get inside, inside leverage on the defender and make the catch.
7 catches for him today as Cousins is thrown to the turf at midfield. Jonathan Allen just levels him.
Jonathan Allen right here down to the bottom, and they're going to bring pressure off the edge. So watch this. All of a sudden, your left tackle gives up Jonathan Allen. I would tell you this right now. You got to block it inside out, so you got to let that little corner go. Now, I understand the principle, right? It comes between a little guy and a big guy, hit the little guy, right? Because that saves your body. But 93, you can't let go of that guy. He's been all over, just an absolute wrecker in this. Wanting this defense to come back out here, Washington. They're relying on this defense to make a big play.
Cook. And Dalvin Cook down to the 31-yard line. Looks like he's short of the first down.
Dalvin Cook, I mean, just the effort. His jump cut, he is all over the place. One of the little water bugs, just all over the place. And then, to have the power to be able to do that inside, to jump from one gap to the next gap, back into a different gap, and then being able to understand when that run is coming to an end, put your shoulder down and drive into somebody. Really does a great job. Minnesota praying. 3rd down and 1.
Had the touchdown catch a moment ago to Cook to tie the game. Timeout Vikings.
Timeout Minnesota. Their first 30-second timeout.
Well, what's going to happen is watch this D-line shift down. You've got this quarterback sneak coming up. We get everybody in those A-gaps. He's like, wait a minute. We got to get out of this play. Waves down Jefferson.
He did have an earlier quarterback sneak that was good for a first down.
Right.
Next Sunday on Fox, doubleheader. Vikings take on the Bills. That ought to be a good one. Bills at the moment tied with the Jets in the late stages. And then one of the games of the year. Historic rivals take center stage. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys against Rodgers and the Packers at Lambeau. It's on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Packers are losing with 2 minutes left to the Lions in Detroit. Jefferson has the first down and bounces around the 20-yard line.
This attack there just so hard because you got everything in here, and Jefferson's going to come flying across here. So as a defense, you're just trying to have that gap integrity inside, and you get the speed of a receiver like Jefferson flying across the formation.
Always love a team with integrity. They're at the 21. First down, clock at 4:11. Washington 1 timeout. Minnesota 2. Dalvin Cook inside the 15-yard line. His 14th rush attempt. averaging 3.5 a carry. He does not look tired.
No, he does not look tired. Well, he's only had 14 carries, but tell you what, love the balance Minnesota's showing right now. And how do you get a defensive line that's just pressured you consistently throughout the game? Just keep on running, keep on feeding it to your back, and figuring at some point he's going to pop one because he's got that quickness, he's got that power.
He picked up 7. Cousins rolling and throwing. Hockenson thrown down right away as soon as he caught it by Jamin Davis, who is second on the team in tackles.
Tried a little boot keep game here, and Jamin, as you mentioned, really closes, so athletic, and he's played so much better. Obviously, Holcomb is their starter at the middle linebacker. He's their starting Micah. He went down with a foot injury. Davis has filled in last week and obviously this week, and he's played really, really good football. He's really grown as a player under the tutelage of Jack Del Rio, their defense coordinator.
Third and 4, Cousins with the flip. Hockenson moves in for the first down.
Well, they got 18 right there. Jefferson coming inside, and watch the confusion with the defensive backs trying to play man-to-man on Hockenson. Just creates clear sailing for him. Easy pitch and catch for Kirk Cousins and T.J. Hockenson.
And General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, making this trade from a team in the division, giving up a second and a third, and there's some other conditional picks involved in the deal. Hockenson already with 9 catches in his first game as a Viking. Cousins with the fake and the throw out of the end zone. Osborne was back there. That might have been one of those, I don't know if it was pressure or not, but we talked about Kirk Cousins' leads, and you touched on it, the NFL and throwaways, and that's not a bad stat when you do something with it on the next play, and that's something that he and his head coach have worked on.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can have great stats and be an okay team, right? Lose a lot of games, or you can have good stats and win a lot of games. And I'd rather have good stats and win than great stats and lose. And that's really the difference right now with this Minnesota team compared to last year.
And that's what's happening with Kirk Cousins in this team. Second and goal. Cook gets inside the 5. It will be third and goal. May work the clock as well, knowing that Washington has just one timeout. One was lost on a challenge.
Yeah, I think they're going to run this down to the 2-minute warning. No reason.
The toss for the touchdown. Greg Joseph is good. And it looks like there's a flag down. We will check. Vikings are pointing as if the offense will get an opportunity again. And look, that's a blank stare from Rivera.
Well, I think Ridgeway, was it 91 Ridgeway that ran right over the top of the center?
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 91. Contact on the center. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic.
Terrible mistake right here, and watch him come down over the center. All right, and hits the center. The center is a defenseless player with his head between his legs, so he gets that protection.
So if he leaped without touching him, he could do that?
Yeah, he can do that.
Okay.
But you cannot contact the center. He just runs right over the top of him.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that is a major, major miscue, because it's not only closer to the goal line, it's a first down. So instead of 3, opportunity here.
Well, Chris, we've been talking about situational football all day long. I mean, there is a classic blunder when it comes to situational football by the Commanders.
I don't know that he was in a hurry to score, because I think they might be able to control this. Washington will use their last time out, and you're just going to have 1:48 left.
It's a great call. Bleed this clock down.
I mean, you may not have to get 3 more snaps if you're Minnesota. Washington can't stop the clock. Figure 40 seconds, maybe 8 or 10 left even if you don't kick a field goal or get a score. In back time, the time between snaps.
And this is what Kevin O'Connell spends so much time. They have a Friday meeting, and they call it situational masters. And these are the things they go over. They watch game tape from other teams and say, here's the situation. If we're in it, this is what we're going to do. And here you go again. You're not trying to score. You're just eating up time, taking the loss, and letting the clock bleed. So really, really smart. So we'll get it down to a minute here before we have to snap it again.
Then you can run another 40 off and then kick your field goal or go for your touchdown, depending upon what you want to do. Whatever they do, and there's Joseph, who made the field goal a moment ago, but he took it off the board to get the ball back and take control of the clock.
Right, so they'll do the same thing. They'll run that here. Let another 40 seconds go off the clock, so you'll have about 20 seconds left. They'll call a timeout, then they'll set up for their field goal.
Minnesota using a timeout.
And they had 2 left, so they still have that opportunity to snap this ball, let it run down to 20, call that timeout again, and then line up for their field goal.
Then kick the field goal and leave Washington under 20 seconds or so. Second half, this was the momentum changer. Curtis Samuel with the official getting in the way of the Viking defense on a touchdown toss, and then Dax Milne's first career touchdown, but the Heineke interception, the turnovers, Harrison Smith with that takeaway, and then Dalvin Cook sure-handed in the end zone. And moments ago, the major miscue on the field goal try that gave the Vikings a first down and control of the clock on 3rd and goal. Cousins will hold on to this one. I'm sure fantasy owners and certainly some other people who had interest beyond just the Commanders and Vikings are watching closely with how close this game actually is and how it might wind up.
Well, it's interesting.
It was the Ridgeway penalty.
Yes, yeah, the Ridgeway penalty, and the momentum changer was the errant toss by Heineke, intercepted by Harrison Smith, that really changed the momentum of this football game. We're going to take their last time out here.
Yeah, now the other side of this is if he...
That 3rd and final of the half. 30 seconds.
He's been reliable, Greg Joseph, when he's in close, but he has missed 3 extra points this year. And if somehow Washington can either block this or create enough of an issue so that it's not automatic, well, then the Commanders will have hope. 28-yard field goal try with 16 seconds remain.
Well, what's your best block?
Well, if Ridgeway is in for redemption.
Everybody lined up to this edge right here. Going to try to turn a tight corner.
Protection good. Joseph nails it. Vikings have come from behind to take a 3-point lead on the road with 12 seconds to go. Another one-score game. Another situation mastered by Minnesota.
They preach it. They talk about it. They study it. They work on it. They quiz each other about it. And this is the payoff right here. A lot of teams talk about being smart in situations. This is a team that focuses on it and works on it without fail on a week-to-week basis.
A smile from Cousins. Is there a little magic? And there has to be maybe a lot of magic with just 12 seconds and no timeouts for Heineke and the Commanders.
I know one thing. You tell Joseph, boot this thing out of the end zone. Do not give them an opportunity on a return. Because we've seen a couple dynamic returns. Remember, Gibson's had a couple of good returns. He had a touchdown return when he was in college at Memphis as well. So this is a guy that's got some skills back there.
Made the special teams all-star team in college. And Joseph will, as you said, make sure. 25-yard line, 12 seconds to go. Well, talk about energy and a vibe. But he had he's already had a couple of comeback wins this year. He had 4 fourth-quarter winning drives last year. And his dad told him, he told this to us when he was a kid, his dad said, it's time for a comeback, not a setback. That's the way to look at things. When he was crying as a kid and lost a game and didn't play well, he has to overcome that interception in the waning seconds.
Well, you run one of these, flip it out to the outside and start laddering.
From the pocket, there's Antonio Gibson, who's looking for somebody to flip it to. Did he get out of bounds? No, he did not, and that's it. The Vikings, 6th straight win, 7-1 this season, and frustration for the Commanders, who fall below 500 at 4-5, and their 3-game win streak is over. And yes, Kirk Cousins, I'm sure he likes that. Another little detail, they make sure he's tackled in bounds, so the clock runs out.
Desperate to get to the out of bounds. Chandon Sullivan making a great play right there. You see the knee down in bounds, and he whirls the arm, right? Chandon knows right there. Keep that clock winding. That's game. Kirk Cousins makes his return back to the place that drafted him.
Vikings are 7-1 or better for the first time since 2009. You remember that 09 team that started 7-1, went on to go 12-4.